This will be a day long remembered. Now I am the master.
Welcome to another episode of Legends and Theories. And I kind of know that this isn't our popular opinion, and many people disagree with me, but I personally enjoyed the Hobbit movies. Yes, they do have flaws and aren't as good as Lord of the Rings trilogy, but still, I do enjoy them. One of the reasons is The Hobbit. First one was the first Middle-earth content I saw, and made me become a fan of the rest. But really, I just like the movies and think it does, show a lot of what happens essentially during the book, but just isn't shown, and most of the stuff people do have problems with. Besides one that I don't really like everyone else, at least would make sense to happen during the events, and are either directly told happened during the Lord of the Rings book, or you could very easily make the assumption it would happen in, based on whatever in the books. And I feel like maybe it could have been better if it was a two-part movie instead of a three-part trilogy. But still, I do enjoy it. And I'm going to talk about some of the things that people have problems with and why I don't. Besides, the one thing I do not really like, the entire, forced Thranduil, Tavernel, I don't remember her name, her plotline. Thranduil is Legolas's father. I don't know what her name is. It's Taurel or something. It's something with a T. And yeah, I think that storyline was forced and was not as good. And one of the things I really like about, Tolkien and especially Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, I haven't really been able to get into the rest of Middle-earth stuff, but one of the things that is pretty good about, the books is there isn't too much, forced love interest stuff, and it's generally pretty good on just giving us, normal stories of like an adventure and friendships and everything. And, the love stuff is there, but it's kind of just, is in the background. But yeah, I think that this storyline, which didn't exist and, have any implication it could exist, was bad. But now I'm going to look at something I think that, stuff I think that does make sense to have taken place. And the one thing being Legolas, I think you could definitely assume pretty normally, with him being the son of Thranduil, he would be participating most likely in the Battle of the Five Armies and have maybe some interactions with the dwarves. And I'm kind of fine with it. I feel like maybe there could have been a little better way, and maybe he didn't have to be that involved. But I'm pretty sure with it that he was never directly interacting with Bilbo. Unless I'm, forgetting a scene because, of course, Bilbo was invisible for, the time he was in what's called the Halls of Thranduil, but, so he wouldn't really encounter him there. They didn't encounter in the Battle of the Five Armies, from what I could think. And, just, some other things. he wouldn't, have any other really options since they weren't in the same locations at any other point. But, that's something that I think is pretty good. But while looking at the events of, the rest of it, I think there are some things you could say, maybe don't make as much sense. But while watching, yeah, I think, it was a okay inclusion and a nice tie-in to Lord of the Rings. But let's take a look at some other stuff. And the specific players I chose was of the Dol Guldur level from Lego the Hobbit. And I think there are many people who don't love that it's in there, but I like it because it was told in Lord of the Rings. That's what Gandalf was up to. And, it's just nice to have a B story with Gandalf, doing what he did during the book they weren't ever told of. And I also think it's like a kind of just, a cool thing to learn about. And, the character of Radagast is there. I think, he's okay. I mean, the only appearance he had in the books, entirety of like the Lord of the Rings and Hobbit, was basically just a brief cameo in the Fellowship of the Ring, in the Council of Elrond chapter, I believe, where Gandalf recounts how he was captured by Saruman. And yeah, so I think that, it was okay. I'm guessing, to my best, of my ability, that they said they wanted to have Aragorn in the movie, but the actor didn't want to go in since Aragorn doesn't appear in the book. And I think that Radagast was supposed to be replaced by Aragorn. But after that, they went and looked at some other interesting characters and decided to use Radagast. And yeah, that's more of a theory of mine. And a video I am planning soon is to see how Aragorn would change the events of The Hobbit if he did appear in there. And this is not the route I'm going to be going, because essentially that route would just be this story, but Radagast is replaced by Aragorn. But, I still enjoyed it. And I think he was an okay character. Probably wasn't the best, but didn't really, hurt it that much to me. And let's take a look at the rest. So, there are people who have problems with, a few other things. And one of the problems is maybe the length of the Battle of the Five Armies. And I think that, although it wasn't, exactly that like that in the book, I think there's a good reason for it to be, a little extended. And that, I think, is because it would feel very anticlimactic to have, this big battle begin and then just see Bilbo knocked out, and then the aftermath of the battle. Although that does work in the book, and since the Battle of Five Armies isn't a major part, I think that, especially in the movie, I feel like it would feel very cheap at the end to many people. Although there would be people who do enjoy the story the way it is, I feel like that the thought would be that many people would be thinking, yeah, this feels very anticlimactic. There's this entire army, and then it looks really cool. We're about to get a giant battle, and we don't see it. So I think I do understand that. And honestly, I feel like, especially in terms of movie, although I think many people who read the book would be expecting that, it would feel very anticlimactic. And I do understand why that was cut. Well, it wasn't really cut, exactly, was reworked to have actually a full final battle. And really, if you think of it, it's the only way, you could say they could technically improve it is with three, movies. They literally could have, interpreted The Hobbit word from word and just used the book as the script. And I mean, yeah, that could work, because if they really wanted to, they probably could have just fully recreated the book. But I don't even know, if people would want to maybe directly see that. I think it would be interesting. I'm not fully sure what people would think. And yeah, I do enjoy it. I know that I'm in the minority there. I think a lot of people don't like these movies. And I don't, love them as much as Lord of the Rings, as I said. But I still like them. I like that they show, stuff that you would think would happen. And it was, some maybe not as good ideas like Thran the Tower or whatever her name is. I don't remember what her name is. But I think, besides a few of those decisions, overall I enjoyed the movie. Well, all three movies. And of course there are a few things that I think could be done differently. But personally, I don't hate these movies. I really enjoy them and look forward to watching them when I watch a full, rewatch of all the movies. And really, I think that they did a pretty good job on them. And as I was saying, not perfect, but really good. And, well, I just popped up in my head. One of the things is Azog, who was essentially a character mentioned, I think, like once or twice in the book, and was, dead before, the book started, not presumed dead. And I don't really know. I think that he sets as an interesting, antagonist for Thorin, especially because Smaug, well, he really doesn't have too much to do. He just has to be there and die at, the Lake Town part, where there's still a good amount of story left. And setting up another antagonist for the end of the movie, I think definitely was going to be something they were going to do. Although maybe they could have just done Bolg, who is Azog's son. I don't remember exactly if he is during the events of the movies, but still, at least, they could have just done him trying to avenge his father, and Azog doesn't have to appear at all. But, honestly, that's so minor. I personally didn't care too much. And really, as for the rest, yeah, I think that this was a good trilogy of movies. Not the best, but personally something I did enjoy. So that's what I think about the Hobbit movies. What did you think? Did you like them? Did you not like them? Or just kind of neutral? Or did you never see them? No matter what you think, please tell me in the comments. And I will see you in the next episode of Legends and Theories. Thank you for watching this episode of Legends and Theories. Please subscribe, like the video, share the video, leave a comment, check out the video on screen, and may the Force be with you.